are studying in school or college, there may be a speaker, and through mic, your headmaster or teacher may be communicating with you, or sometime a written communication regarding tomorrow will be a holiday, there may be some examination, like that written communication comes, and that communication is read by teacher. So that written communication is communicated by teacher in the oral communication form. That written thing is conveyed by oral communication. But when directly a written communication comes to you and you yourself read it, it becomes written communication. So in an office, both the things are there. Sometimes the boss informs certain things orally. Certain circulars are issued by the department in written form. Whatever our appointments, our assignment of duties, it will be communicated to us in written form. But the petty works, that works to be done spontaneously, may be asked to you by the boss to its members verbally also. And we do that. So, now coming to the actual how we communicate as a part of human resource management, because without communication, works cannot be done. So we will see some of the definitions as usual given in your study material on page number 240. What is meant by a communication? How the different subject experts view, or how the management gurus view communication in their definitions. Here, one communication is given by Keith Davis. What he says? He says communication is the process of passing information and understanding from one person to another. It is essentially a bridge of meaning between people, and by using the bridge of meaning, a person can safely cross the river of misunderstanding that separates all people. So, two people communicating with each other, an employee to other employee, or may a boss to an employee, there should be clear communication. How a thought or how a oral or written communication passes from one person to the other. That is what we call information. Passing of information from one person to other is defined as communication. What Keith Davis says. Another person is there, C.A. Brown. What he says: communication is the process of transmitting ideas or thoughts from one person to another for the purpose of creating understanding in the thinking of the person receiving the communication. Like previous definition. Here, whatever thoughts of one person is there, those thoughts are communicated to other person who is in your front. You are communicating to other person your thoughts, your ideas, so that he understands that. Filling up the bridge of communication means he is able to understand what you desire to convey to other person. He may be a colleague, he may be a boss, or he may be your subordinate. So communication is important. And another fellow, Louis A. Allen, what he has, how he is describing, he says, the communication is the sum of all things one person does when he wants to create understanding in mind of another. It involves a systematic and continuous process of telling, listening, and understanding. Three things. What is? It says telling, a person conveys. Listening, a person understands. And third thing is, whatever he is listening, that is absorbed by the person to whom you want to communicate. Three processes are there. That is telling, listening, and understanding. What Alan says. And what Cumming is saying, he says that the communication is the process of conveying messages, facts, ideas, attitudes, opinions from one person to another so that they are understood. If you see all the four definitions, the gist of all the four definitions is the same. Only the thing how they are defining the process of communication. Whatever ideas are there, whatever attitudes are there, whatever facts are there, or whatever your opinion is there, you are passing those things to other person so that he understands what you want to convey. That is the communication. You know, information communication is very interesting. We don't convey the things among ourselves, not only between human being to human being, even the animals, birds, you get, they want to communicate to you. You might have seen in those who are from villages or rural areas, they understand when a buffalo or a cow needs water, needs some grass or something to eat, it calls like that. The sound which they make, the owner of that animal understands, yes, she needs, the buffalo or cow needs water, they need something to eat, and they say, yeah, or they immediately pick up the bucket of water and put in front of the buffalo and it drinks. Same way, they may be putting the grass, they may be putting other eatables to the thing. So that is a way of communication. They don't know how to convey you. Your language they don't know. But still you are able to, they are able to convey and you are able to understand. Isn't it? Even a child who needs milk, if he feels hungry, he weeps. His weeping is communication. The mother understands, yes, the child is hungry and she feeds. So that is the kind of communication we need, whether it is written, whether it is oral. Our purpose is whatever we want to convey to other person, he understands or not. There are some communication ways, not only oral, not only written, still you understand. Sometimes you might have those who are driving, they know there is a mark like that, arrow mark will be there, showing a kind of twist saying that you can take a turn here. Whenever it is prohibited a way, you should not cross the road there. They will make that mark and put cross mark. Near the hospital, near the schools, there will be a horn, horn type drawn and a cross mark is there. That means you should not make noise by blowing horn near the school, near the hospital, or the other type of organization. Isn't it? Have you seen on the roads marks? Yes or no? Please respond. You are listening, no? Or put it on and gone. So please respond. When I put question, please respond.
Listening, sir.
Please listen and respond also sometime. Okay?
Okay, sir. Okay.
So, like that, even in libraries, you might have seen in the library reading hall, they put a mark telling that you should not smoke. A cigarette will be drawn, a cross mark will be there, or telling that no noise, silence. So with the symbols also you are understanding the communication. It is a kind of what we call symbolic communication. We are communicating with each other by way of displaying the symbols, symbolic language. So anything one can, and even in the library, marks will be there. When you enter the library premises, just opposite the counter in many big libraries, there will be what we call display of charts showing where are the reference books, where are the textbooks, where is the catalog, where you can get periodicals or journals. Although those charts also a kind of communication between the user of a library and the library, what it wants to convey to the user, it is conveyed by way of putting signs and boards. They are very important. You have seen in your one of the chapters in this, what we call creating organizational charts. Where are the books? Where is the librarian's room? Where is the circulation desk? Those markings are also a kind of communication represented by way of preparation and display of chart, preparing and displaying the chart. So anyhow, we will not go in deep. When you go, you may be studying these things under a paper information communication. There is a paper information communication where in detail you study about these things, how you communicate. So in organization communication, in an institution, how the communication takes place. If you see your page number 242, a communication process has been shown by way of a chart. Written, the feedback is written there. What it says, how we convey the communication from one person, from one destination via a language to other person. A chart is drawn. If you see in your study material 242 page number, always a communication start from a place, start from a source, started by a person, what we call as source. Source means a person to communicate a message. which is to be communicated, maybe oral, maybe written. So there were two persons, communication experts, Shannon and Weaver. You might have studied in or you might have read in your information communication that Shannon and Weaver, these two persons, and other person, Folger, and other persons also have given different models of communication. The model of Weaver and Shannon is the basic model which is accepted by all. Today also we see, according to which there should be a source from where the communication starts, and from that communication is encoded. It is converted into some code. You know, what I am speaking, what you are listening is what kind of signal? Can somebody tell me what type of signal it is? We have communication by way of our waves are passed in the ether medium. I am talking, you are listening. What kind of this? Analog signal. It is analog signal. When we speak, that is, waves are created, signals are created, they are analog signals. And while communicating, a computer actually does not understand analog signal. It accepts which kind of signal? A computer accepts which type of signal? You are studying computers also, no? On paper. Can somebody tell me? Yeah? Sam, Devadarshini, Sweta, Rahmatunnisa, please come. Somebody please tell me. Even if it is wrong, don't worry. I will say what kind of signals computer accepts. It is digital signal. It is digital signal. It understands only 0 and 1. So what we do when a communication is sent via email or through communication medium, the analog signal is converted to digital signal by a modem, and that thing is converted into codes. Analog symbol is converted to digital. But if communication is starting from a computer, then that signal will be digital. Then it is converted to analog. Again, it passes through some medium. And then again, decoding is there from analog to digital. And finally, it is received by the receiver of the email. So like that, always if you see the feedback chart, communication process chart of a library drawn on page number 242, it says there should be a source, and from there message starts. Then there will be an encoder, and from encoder it goes to that language message is converted. It passes through oral or little channel, and from there it is encoded, and the receiver receives it in the form which is understandable by the receiver. Are you understanding what I have told? You understood or not?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
So a message is to be first while passing from the source till the receiver, it passes through a channel where in that channel the original message is encoded and it passes through, and before it reaches the destination or to the receiver, it is converted, again decoded, and sent to the message receiver in the understandable language. So you please remember that there will be certain stages it has to pass through, that is from source to encoder, then message, then channel, from through which it is again decoded. After passing through, it is decoded and the communication is received to the user, and in turn, action and reaction take place. Chatting, when you do chatting, same thing. Your message starts from you, it converts, receiver receives, he again sends, again it is converted, coded, decoded, and then you receive it. There are two types of things. What we call formal communication in an office, there will be formal communication and informal communication. Formal education, non-formal education, or informal education. When we are receiving, what kind of education you are receiving? Can you tell me now? Is it formal or informal? Formal means you are, which type of education you are receiving? Distance mode.
Formal education.
Non-formal, sir.
It is non-formal education, or you can say it is informal means you have to attend the classes regularly, follow certain procedures. But in non-formal, there is no formality required. Adult education classes, distance mode education, there is no need for any attendance to be given for daily. You have to go to the class, attend. That is, you have to see that you are getting education through distance mode. Now, coming to the formal communication, there is certain procedure. Not only procedure, I can say automatically it is a way of communication. There is what we call vertical communication and horizontal communication. Vertical means columnar. It is either coming from top to down or going from down to top. That means top means who will be there? Officers will be there. Management will be there. And down means the lower cadre staff will be there. Middle level, then lower level. And horizontal means it is lateral communication. You are talking to your subordinates. You are talking to your higher, your level people. It is known as horizontal or lateral communication. If you see your page number 244 of your study material, the charts are given. The charts are drawn for downward communication, from up to downward communication. And similarly, on page number 245, it shows upward communication from down to top. Down to top. So what does it mean? Upward to downward or downward to upward. What does it mean? Means whenever the communication is coming from top to down, top level management, always the authority, officers, managers, directors. So what they do, they give the directives. They give directives. They give job instructions to the employees. So such communication from higher authorities, which flows from the higher authority to middle level or lower level, is known as what kind of? Upward to down. Upward to down. Downward communication. What are the things in downward communication you receive from higher authorities, from the principal to the teachers, from teachers to the students? Communication like policies, procedures, rules, handbooks, that comes from top level to down level. We call downward communication. And if you see on the top of this page, 244, you find these 4 or 5 things they give. What is the thing which we are supposed to get through downward communication? We get specific directions, directives from higher ups, information designed to produce understanding of the tasks which are assigned to the staff members, job-related instructions, information about organizational procedures, practices. Then similarly, feedback to the subordinates from the higher ups, and the information related to character, to instance of mission, different kind of goals, objectives. Who defines goals and objectives? Always higher ups. That comes from top level to the middle level and down level or lower level staff. You might have, if you remember, in chapter number 3 or 4, we have seen how many levels of staff members will be there. Can somebody tell me what are the levels in a library?
3 levels. 3
What are
levels, sir.
3 levels.
Which level? 3 levels, which one?
Top level,
Middle level,
Okay.
middle,
level,
lower,
Low level.
lower
Yeah.
level.
lower level.
Lower.
Good, very good. So, like that, when the communication flows from top level to middle level and to the down level, it is downward communication, top to down. And then when it is upward communication, people, lower level staff having problems, having some grievances, some suggestions they want to give, or give certain reports to their we call it upward communication. Suppose you want to apply for leave, you write the leave application, applying for CL, earned leave, or sick leave, or health related issues. So you come write to your subordinate, subordinate write to it boss, then further boss, finally through proper channel, it reaches the authorities and they sanction leave. So such a communication from the lower level to the upper level is known as upward communication. It is drawn on page number 245. The upward communication, he says, it can be classified into 4 types. What the person says about himself, his performance, and his problems. Implies giving the about himself, his performance, his problems, sends to upward. Similarly, a person says about others and their problems. A middle level boss gets information about his colleagues and sends upwards. Third thing, whatever the staff want to say regarding organizational practices and policies, or if they have got anything to convey their problems, their grievances, then it goes from down to top only. Now, moving to the horizontal or lateral communication, such type of communication is between the collateral or lateral communication with the same time between different sections. They are all in an organization. There will be different sections. Somebody may be dealing with stores and purchase. Somebody may be dealing with finance and accounts. Somebody may be dealing with projects management, project monitoring and management. Somebody may be dealing with human resources. So like that, in a library, suppose different sections are there: acquisition section, processing section, maintenance section, circulation section, information providing reference section. So all these sections are equal with on par with each other. Such sections are known as horizontal or lateral sections, and the communication to help. Suppose you have acquired a new book. The library acquisition section acquires a new book. That book is passed on after accessioning to after passing the bill to processing section. There it will be classified. It will be catalogued. Then it will be passing through there to maintenance section, where the labeling in the processing section, you put stamps, you put label, you classify, you catalog, make entry in database, send it to maintenance section. In maintenance section, they will keep it on the rack or display under new books. They provide for reading within the reading hall. Once the reader takes that book to the circulation counter, it is issued another section. So all sections which perform different kinds of duty, they are equal in the status. So communication among one section to the other section is known as lateral or horizontal communication.
Excuse me, sir.
Tell me.
Excuse me, sir.
Please tell.
Interdepartmental memos means what's a non-supervisory interaction? Page number 246.
Yes.
Interdepartmental memos, non-supervisory interaction.
Yes. Actually, as I'm explaining the same thing, no? There are different sections, okay? The librarian has to deal with all the sections. When suppose a book is purchased, it is purchased by which section? Acquisition. And then you are sending it, communicating to other section, that is processing section. It is not supervisory. It is lateral communication. You are sending that book to the processing section for cataloging, for classification, for putting label. This is intersection or interdepartmental communication. Suppose a reader is there who has given a suggestion for purchase of a book. Okay. To whom he asks whether the book has come or not. After giving a suggestion for purchase of books, after 15 days or 1 month, he inquires whether the book has come or not. He inquires with the librarian. Librarian does not know. He will contact other section. He will contact the deputy librarian. In turn, deputy librarian who contacts the acquisition section, assistant librarian may be in charge. There he talks and he finds out that yes, book has already been arrived, purchased. Then why reader is not receiving? He will further find out. Acquisition section says we have already given it to the processing section. Processing section person says, yes, I have classified, I have cataloged, I have given it to the person who is putting labels. But book is withheld there because labels are over, due date slips are over, barcode labels are over, and it is halted there. You are finding it out. Lateral communication. This is all interdepartmental communication. Anything comes from the top boss, it will be communicated to all the sections. Everybody receives.
Okay.
But communication from one section to other is not supervisory, but it is the interaction between section to section, department to department. Okay. Now, sometimes what happens now, certain things does not come directly in the form of written communication. Such thing verbally told. Suppose they want that 5 days week is there, or the coming second Saturday is working. Some certain things, what happens, no, it does not come in the written form before itself. The information is leaked and it is just spread among the people, like rumors. Rumors means rumors can be true, rumors can be fake also, isn't it? Something, for example, you know, yesterday government has stopped the 2000 rupees note. You have to exchange it from the, no more 2000 rupees notes are coming in the market. Banks will not issue it. But whatever you are having, you have to deposit in your account or exchange it with 500 rupees or 200 rupees or 100 rupees notes. Isn't it? But this communication came only in the evening. But rumors started spreading from afternoon itself. Yes, 2000 note is going to be stopped. So such thing, formal things comes later on. Formal things comes later on in the form of circular. Circular came in the evening, but the rumors started before the circular was signed by the concerned authorities. Such communications is just what we call a rumors type, spreads very fastly among the people. But if it is just formality, a circular comes signed by the authorities. Now you move to page number 248, where certain things are starting at 247 itself, what we call barriers to communication. Barrier. Can somebody tell me what is meant by barrier? On the road, you might have seen the barriers. Police putting barriers. What does it mean? Barrier means obstacle, obstruction. Sometimes what happens, the police want to stop the flow of traffic. If suppose heavy traffic is there, they will put some kind of iron-made partitions with wheels on the road. Only 1122 vehicles or 1122 persons are allowed to move. That is known as barrier. A kind of obstacle to stop. So, but there are certain barriers to communication also. What are those things which stops free flow of communication. It slows down the process of sending the communication. What are those barriers? They have been divided into 3 types of communication barriers. What are those? Human or personal barriers, semantic barriers, technical barriers. These 3 types of barriers or obstacles are there which hinders the free flow of communication, free flow of information among the employees, among the people in an organization. What are those things? What are the human or personal barriers? One thing is distrust, threat, and fear. Due to not having confidence, you are not trusting something, you have got fear. All those things sometimes comes in the free flow, in between the free flow of the communication. You don't, if some communication comes, you don't trust it. Alright, how it can happen? Like that. Suppose that may be true, but still you distrust. And sometimes certain things, certain communication is not understood due to the feeling it is a threat. It may be creating some fear. And there are some other things, what we call psychological barriers. So again, psychologically also, a message may not be properly understood, and people may rather not absorb the communication. And sometimes what happens, even in organization, there will be certain barriers. There may be social barriers. There may be the person who wants to communicate something, he may not be clearly expressing. So we call faulty expressions. Poor retention. Sometimes we are not able to, they are conveyed in such a fashion. A circular is there. After reading 1 or 2, 3 times, you may not able to retain what exactly communicated. It may be a confusing communication. So all these things are inadequate listening. Suppose something is being conveyed by a boss to its employees through a speaker. He is speaking on mic, but the communication may not be very clear. Noise is there. Mixed with noise, you are not able to listen. So such kind of barriers may be present. It may be present. So such barriers which are personal or human barriers which one cannot understand due to individuals' shortcoming or problem, such barriers, such hindrances are known as personal barriers or human barriers. Sometimes the communication comes from higher authorities. That communication to its employees should be clearly written. The language should be clear, lucid. One can able to understand just after reading. But if you are using more technical language, using confusing or high jargons are used, you may not be able to after reading the circular, You may have some confusion. What does it mean? What this word means? What that means? Such things come, what we call such barriers are semantic barriers. They may be a language, as I told, high type language, not clearly written language, used complicated language, one barrier. And sometimes what happens, you may not understand the high English. If the communication is given in some local language, you don't know, some employees don't know, language acts as a barrier there. And also geographical information, if it is not clear, if the distance is more, geographical area is more, then also it acts as a barrier. Whatever information is there, that is not passed on to the receiver of the communication clearly. Time lags, delays in communication, that also sometimes hinders the importance of that communication. You already know verbally, but the written communication comes late. Sometimes it happens, the day you receive, an airline is giving concession. The tickets are issued in 50% cost. But the communication itself comes at such a time, only half an hour is left out for the booking the ticket with 50% communication. And in that half an hour, either system does not work, internet does not work, and finally you don't get any benefit. So such a time lags, delays, makes no sense of sending the communication to the people. If you receive a communication that there is a post advertised for which you are eligible, but you find there is no time, as only today is the last date to apply. And when you are applying for that post, internet does not work. Money is not accepted, which is to be deposited online. Some such thing comes and you are hindered. You are not allowed to apply. Such things are what we call barriers. No clarity, eligibility criteria, no clarity in experience, no clarity in relaxations. So all such things may be unintentional, and sometimes intentional also will be there. And as far as the communication barriers are there, in third, technical barriers, there may be physical barrier, there may be mechanical barrier. You have prepared the communication to be conveyed through fax. The fax machine of the receiver may be having some technical problem. It may not be working. You have sent the email, it did not reach. It is bounced. Some problems, some hindrances are always there. It is always possible. There may be possible of mechanical, and sometime what happens, there will be information overload. That means a system may break down due to the overloading of information. You might have seen results are announced by board or university. Many people continuously searching for their results. System breaks down. It does not work. Again, it has to be rectified. All those things we call as technical snacks, technical barriers are sometimes mechanical, electronic, geographical, all those air due to distance, high distance, due to disturbances, due to mechanical problems, all those communications may not be there and not reaching. Finally, if you see at the end of your study material, you find some commandants. 10 commandants are given for communication. Even before that also some 9 communication guidelines are given. All those gist is of all these 3 things is same. Gist of all the 3 things is same. It should be, I will give the 10 commandants which are important. What says? Before communicating, there should be clarity of ideas. The purpose of communication should be clear. Then there should be clear setting of the physical and human communication before you are communicating. Whenever you are communicating, the message should be appropriately designed. There should be proper planning before making a communication. And also, you should use uniform tones. Don't use overtones for communication, something verbally. And then one should also follow up the communication and communicate for future, for tomorrow, and communicate. Action supports your communication. So whatever communicated should also be implemented. And finally, then seek not only to understood, but to understand a good listener. That means your communication should be such that when the listener is listening to it, he should immediately understand what is being communicated. So, like this, a communication is very important in an institution, in an organization, maybe educational institution, maybe university, maybe research organization, maybe a library. Anywhere, the communication should be clearly mentioned in the easy language, understandable language, and that language, and also whatever communication is to be sent, whether it is verbal, whether it is written communication, it should be timely communication, no time lag, no delays should be there. So like that, communication has got its own importance in any organization. So this is all about, in a nutshell, about the communication, the types. It's first its definition, its types, formal, informal, or non-formal, whatever you say. And then what are the upward communication, downward communication, lateral communication, and also the hindrances, obstacles, we call it as barriers, which makes the communication process slow. And also we have seen the communication process, how the communication starts from the sender. It passes through a channel where it is encoded, then it is decoded, and then flows to the receiver of the information. And finally, we have seen what are the 10 commandments, means how the communication should be. It should be timely, it should be properly understood, properly framed, proper words are used, and it is communicated without delay. So, last topic only, number 16 remains, that is change. A very small topic. How people, what is meant by change, and how change is implemented in the organizations, and how the people resist the change, employees resist the change. Whenever a new technology is there, whenever there is a new procedure to be followed, people resist, employees resist. That thing we will see tomorrow.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Tell me. Yes.
So some doubts are there. Information overloaded and geographical communication means lack of that means what, sir?
I will tell you, information overload means in a system, maybe suppose you are sending some communication through email, communication through internet. Sometimes so much of internet, so much of information comes, then the system either it breaks, or suppose overloading of information. You are daily receiving some 50, 60, 100 emails. Will you able to read all the emails immediately?
No, sir.
Or same day? No. That kind of thing which is coming in abundance, more and more, such thing is known as information overload. Sometimes that information overload is causing information explosion. Your system also break.
Okay.
And as far as geographical, you are telling geographical distances means sometimes head office is in Delhi. Your branch offices are in Hyderabad, maybe in Madras, Chennai. Geographical distances will be more, and to receive the communication from headquarters to different branches which are geographically apart, having lot of distance, then the process of communication may become slow. Understood?
Thank you, sir.
So then tomorrow is the last chapter and last class, change. But tomorrow I have got some assignment to be attended in Indira Gandhi Open University. So timing we will decide. Okay. Actually, the class is from 10:30 to 11:30 to 12:30 as usual. If time permits, I will take on time. Otherwise, I will inform when the class will be. Okay, tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
No mention, please.
Thank
No
you, sir.
mention, please. All welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Tomorrow we'll discuss and also see that whatever is given, not in nutshell for this paper, all chapters will summarize. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Hello. Hello.